It's actually, the project is called Mahila Shishu, and it is developed by National Informatics Center. Normally, most of the government departments are having different schemes for women and children. Okay. At the same time, the data is captured at different levels. Okay. So the main objective of Mahila Shishu software is that, say for example, in ground level of the workers, say for example, Anganwadis are there, ANMs are there, VOs are there, and different level of workers are there. So they are capturing the data, no doubt, but how much time it is taking to reach the high level? Say for example, ANMs are having some 11 to 12 records. They have to get the data from the ground level, they fill the form, they consolidate, then they'll send it to the next level. From next level, they'll consolidate and they'll send it to next level. It is taking a lot of time. At the same time, by the time it reaches the end user, again it takes time. So to avoid this time gap, NIC has developed a software called Mahila Shishu. So where it is web-based as well as Android-based application. So where directly the users like Anganwadis, ANMs, VOs, or whatever the level of ground level workers are there, all their forms are digitalized and they can directly fill the forms digitally. There is no need of filling again and again. They can directly, by checking some options in the Android application or in the web application, they can just choose the forms and they can submit. So instantly it will reflect on the main server, so that that particular information can be sent to the line departments instantly, so that the department can take care of the cases, whatever the issues they have. So that is something brief about the software. And about the security, NIC is the government organization where it can take care of the security of the software as well as the database. So that's it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is more have to be highly adaptable.
Yeah, we are using it like it is there in CM's web portal also. We have given access to that also. Basically, the beauty of this Mahila Shishu is they capture the same fields of the MCTS tracking system. But here we have more analytics. The systems are very simplified and the data can be uploaded from the village itself by the beneficiary also through a customized compressor technology, wherein it can be sent through a very fraction of a second. And even if the signal is not there, once the signal is connected, it's a push technology, it goes into the central server and gets saved there. The advantage in this system again is, the analytics are drawn here. So, for example, me as a state program manager of National Health Mission, I know like I have these many, as of yesterday, 544 mothers have died in Andhra Pradesh. I know the data. So, I have the data with them. In MCTS, the problem is I need to look at the dump of the given by MCTS once in every week, then I will be only knowing it. And the access to the medical officers, etc. is not there. In Mahila Shishu, the advantage is the entire data access is with us and we have the access to everyone in the system, down the system, everyone can have access to the database. These are the comparison vis-a-vis the MCTS Mahila Shishu. But basically the structure remains the same.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our group, basically, we were discussing on the point of rural development. Before starting off, we have been witness to some wonderful presentations from Group 1 and Group 3. Gave us a lot of idea what should have been included in the Group 2 presentation. I'll try to take it off. We have just been able to collate some of the points. Our group, we had a member from SERP also, who had been briefing about what SERP is into and their areas of focus. So as it's mentioned here, and if there is any question with regards to SERP, I guess it can be highlighted on by the member of SERP who's here. SERP, excuse me, okay, this one. So basically, they are lending the money or within their group, or it is basically focusing on self-help groups, which constitutes of around 10 women per group, and they are focused morely on the livelihood activities, the health and the nutrition part, and the personal needs. This is what SERP is doing. Like I said, SERP can be briefed about more by the people from them. The two applications which we were talking of was MAA and Mother. Basically, MAA has been covered by RAM. The Mother part was supposed to be covered by the CDAC person, but basically it focuses on the mother and child. Basically, the data that is collected from the ANC level up till the baby care part, say up to 18 months. So this is basically for the mother and child concerned to the rural areas also, to the interior part also. We have seen that we have been discussing on the points, but what I feel or what we basically feel is the focus more of today's part was onto the mobile part. How a mobile device can basically be made accessible to the rural part, to the people or the beneficiaries, and how they can benefit out of it. If the application is in place, which we all know the application is in place, until and unless the application is used by the beneficiary or it is not made available to them, there is actually no point of how it can be used of. So the connectivity issue always pops up, and I think everyone would agree to it, because there are areas, interior, the tribal areas, where the connectivity is still an issue. So that becomes one of the core areas which needs to be focused on. And then there has to be multiple level collaborations with regards to education, health and nutrition. Maybe the point we put up is because mother, we were focusing on basically concerns on the mother and child. But along with that, the other application, MAA, we can look at having inputs coming in from the education part, the health and the nutrition part. So basically a collaboration happening from all the sides. With regards to the mobile device, not necessarily a smartphone, but the application which has been developed, it should be usable on any platform or a basic mobile phone which a person in the interior or the rural area can afford. That is what we actually mean by a device that should be cost effective. Because maybe in the next slide we'll put up that we need partners, or there is a need of a partner who would be coming out and providing these devices. End of the day, the beneficiary, it is a scenario where they don't pay much for it, but at the same time are able to use it. Now, if they have a mobile, if they have a connectivity, what happens if they are not aware of how to use the applications, or what is the benefits they are going to reap out of it? So that is the next point we have. The end beneficiaries should be aware of the current scheme. Whatever schemes are there under various segments, it should be they should be aware of it. Some of the challenges we thought could be that there is a lot of data that is being captured, taking into consideration the scenario that the connectivity is there, the mobile application is there, the end beneficiaries are using it. There is a lot of data that is being transmitted. Now, how secure this data is, and who takes up the onus of ensuring that the data is secure, it is not being used in any other way than it should be actually meant for. And then the data storage, because if we are trying to reach into the interior parts, the data would be humongous. So the data storage part is very important, how it is being stored or where it will be stored and who all will be having the access to it. That is again a part. Phone numbers keep on changing. We also face that every time. Now a mobile number is there, mobile device is there for the ASHA or for the ANM. Now if the mobiles keep on changing, the numbers keep on changing, what would be the process that these numbers are always registered and the same data is transmitted there? That is the point here. So how do we take care of that? This is one of the challenging issues. Basic connectivity, like we said, it needs to be in place. If the basic connectivity is not there, offline or online, the data, how it will be transmitted, these 2 points are interrelated. So that needs to be taken care of. Coming to the key support and the partnerships required, connectivity, again, I think we have been focusing on the connectivity part. My colleague in the BSNL part, he came up with an idea that wherever the government has an option, it should be open to the public. Maybe he can throw more light on that, because what he says is basically only 10% of the usage is being actually given out to the public. So if that is there, and maybe he can correct me or put in more points, if you can put more points on that. I would request the mic to be given to him, please. My colleague there, to him. If you can just focus on this point.
Wherever government has taken, like e-Panchayat project, we have already given around 4,200 broadband connections which are connecting the villages. So in these panchayats, maybe government can consider opening this. Nowadays we are talking about Wi-Fi hotspots in cities. So this, by simply putting one Wi-Fi modem in that village, you can give access to that village for up to 50 meters or 100 meters from that panchayat office. You can give internet access. So this is anyways they have taken mostly unlimited broadband only, 2 Mbps unlimited broadband. Government can consider setting up a Wi-Fi hotspot at that panchayat itself and open it to that panchayat. It will give access to free internet. So this is one idea which you can consider. Already 7,000 panchayats are to be covered in this first phase. So immediate access will be there for people.
Wi-Fi device is, it goes up to about 4 or 5 meters or 10 meters max. Maybe you are talking about a router of 30,000 rupees.
A Wi-Fi modem,
An expensive router.
a 2,000, 3,000 modem can give you a coverage up to 50 meters. It may be good enough. If some villager want to use an internet, he can come to that place. If he has a smartphone, he can come to the panchayat office.
Point, it's a very good point, yeah. Maybe the planning department, they can take this point to the notice of the Panchayat Raj.
You are paying monthly 1,000 rupees so
Because the same man is heading both planning Panchayat Raj.
for broadband you can
Thakkar
install,
sir.
because I have spoken to multiple social welfare department is again taking 1,000 more broadband connections for use in social welfare hostels, where they are planning to use it for taking the thumbprints before every meal. They want to check the leakage in the social welfare hostels, where a lot of
And a
this
step
is-
before that is public distribution system. Rajshekhar sir also wanted to go for biometric devices.
we have done a
So
pilot
that
for
will
2
happen.
years, 2 years
Yeah.
we have done a
So
pilot.
every village, every ration point is now has a connectivity. Just to add one more point, if I am permitted to. Sir, it's over?
Please. No, I think
then-
we have got one more slide to go on.
Yeah, please complete it, yeah.
That is what exactly we were talking of when Sir mentioned that there should be a higher level of policy consultation with the government. There needs to be working on that. Information dissemination, we are talking of basically nodal points for group of villages, wherein the training can be provided for the usage of the application by the end beneficiary. We could have a nodal point for a group of villages, not for all villages, wherein the training can be provided. Monitoring system, one system is needed to be developed for each scheme and the program based on the need. And there should be a check and balances for capturing the data. Whatever data that is being captured, the authenticity of the data, the correctness of the data, that needs to be checked up regularly. As far as the training is concerned, the training modules can be available on the cloud service, if possible. We could also look at video-based technologies that can be used. And whatever applications that were shown for MAA and Mother, there could be further customization that can be done based on the inputs that is received on the applications. Coming to the last slide, immediate next steps and the timelines for scale-up. We very strongly feel that there has to be a detailed discussions with regards to the rural development. It has to be taken up with the department. The data capturing mechanism is required to authenticate the data. Whatever the data is being captured, the authentication has to be there in place. Responsibility of ensuring that a mobile device is available with the end beneficiary. We feel BSNL can play a very important role in it. Reason of their vast reach. Example just now cited in the morning itself with regards to their response time for the cyclone that recently happened. The way they were able to come up shows that they have got a good reach. We can use that to ensure that the device is supplied to the end user, and at the same time it can be maintained also if possible. Improvisation, we are talking of multiple piloting at various levels are required instead of piloting at one district or block level. This can be at a more geared up kind of a scenario rather than a particular one district or one block to get more information about and the results of that. Partnership and coordination with BSNL and NIC level. Maybe I could have missed out. As far as the devices are concerned, we can also look at an OEM who comes up and says or volunteers to the BSNL that this is the device which we can give with the applications already burnt in, rather than the end beneficiary downloading it after procuring it. Storage capacity has to be increased. The NIC team can work or come back on that. And the timelines is, we feel that it has to be a continuous process because we cannot have a clear deadline of when things start and when it goes off. The training happens, should be happening on a regular level. The end beneficiaries keep on increasing, so the reach has to be there on a continuous process. So this was basically what we have covered in the rural development part. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Panchayati Raj comes under rural development, right?
Pardon me?
Is a separate department by itself. Panchayati Raj and rural development are at the helm of FS. Government of India has one department.
But here at a state level?
We have two different ministries and departments.
Okay.
Sir, one takeaway to everyone here is this is a rural development department is one department that has really used this mobile technology. Way back in 1994, 2004, when we started computerizing the pension database and all those things.
Thank you.
We used to go with the routine platform, web-based designs and all those things. Subsequently, one technology provider by name Verma, sir, Funny Verma from Blue Frog, he came out with a very simple mobile-based technology, and he captured it. The entire IKP is on him, bookkeeping is on it, then the NREGA is on him. Close to around 70,000 phones are in rural development, that is in Velugu program, and another 40,000 in NREGA. On average, close to around 11 to 12 servers, big servers, are capturing the data of all the NREGA works happening in the field and the bookkeeping that's happening in the field. So that's one idea, a simple small compression technology idea with which the Blue Frog technologies have come out. Is it benefited the department, it benefited the community. A database has been established, beautiful servers have been created, and then technology, mobile companies, they have sold phones. Then Idea, they captured the entire 70,000 phones. That Idea, 17 rupees is the cost we pay them. And then Airtel has taken its share, BSNL. Everybody has benefited in this. The best beneficiaries being government. Now we have access to what's happening in the field. So this is one good idea. The best beneficiary is the rural development. They have the early birds. They have taken the real advantage of this mobile. The mobile penetration is really happening in that particular department. Everywhere you see a mobile.
Thank you so much for sharing that observation.